Hi there, Scott from Wessex Blades, an introduction to a new torch for me to review from ThruNite. Now I thought I was taking a bit of a cheek when I suggested this one because it's a lot higher a model than I've usually been allowed to be let loose on, but this is a TC10, it's a version 2, and this one has a charger socket on the inside of the body. It's actually quite a large one. Ooh. So that's the torch, the flashlight, just over the span of your hand. Now obviously in the UK we've got to be very subtle about how these things are advertised, but it's that size for many reasons. The crenellations on there, and all you guys in the USA will understand exactly what I'm on about. The difference with this one is the actual body is aluminium, but the crenellated ring around the top is a hard coated stainless steel, so that's its usage, if you catch my drift. So looking at it from the standpoint of first impressions, the tail cap, butt cap as I like to call them, it's rubberized, so it's not going to be one of these flame tests I'm going to run it to, but I do like the way that you can actually access the button by coming through between the two sections there. You've got the two sections where you can put your wrist strap through. Got a large area here where I suppose you can undo in order to. There's the battery. But technically speaking, you never actually have to take that battery out, and that's because this one is charged up with a cable that goes into that mini USB socket just here. Can you see that? There it is. So you never have to, for the life of the cell at least, undo this, do it back up, undo this, do it back up, and charge the cell. All you got to do is take that rubber block out, charge it up, and off you go again. Right, usual story. You can look, the instructions are in there. I'm not going to read them. What I'm going to do is go through the box of gear. So you do have a perfectly serviceable holster with a nylon D-loop there, Velcro, ThruNite on the side, elasticated walls, so it should fit in. Yep, right, there it is. Perfectly adequate. Like it, it's padded, stop you getting scratched and dirty on the top. And then we've got your handle, spare rubber butt cap, tail cap. What else we got? Is that a spare USB bit in there as well? It was all flown out, but yeah, I got rubber O-rings which are just thrown out. They actually thought of giving a spare USB cover. Yep. And then of course you got your wrist strap. Charging cable, so normal USB to the mini USB, which is the average sort of phone charger size. Very nice. Now, this is where I start thinking about applications, because normally the torches that I have are quite slim, more EDC. This is more, to me, what popped in my head was prepper. If anybody knows of solar panel with a USB outlet that gives, well, 5 volts, I dare say, that and this married together, you've got a long-term light source. So it raises the applications that this thing can be used for. It is actually quite large, so it's not really an EDC like an AA powered one would be, or a pen light, but straight off the bat, very tough. Okay, how do you turn this on? That one, or do you turn the butt one on? There. Right, so it's gone straight to the moonlight section. It's gone straight to the moonlight power. And I suppose I power through with the side switch. Yep. So we'll look at the back wall in the garage. Okay, so that's camera wise center. Okay, next one up, next one up, back to moon mag. There's the clockwork orange strobe. That's one. That is a really, really deep lens. Look at the reflector on that. That is really deep. And it's virtually perfect looking down inside. Sort of central, pretty accurate spot. Reasonably wide beam. And unlike the cheap ones you get where you got the LED is like square, and you got a big square center there. It looks literally like the LED. That looks really circular. So I've got an offensive rectangle just spinning round when you turn the torque. Okay. Well, it seems to be pretty tough. This is the steel. That's something I put me knives on. I'm making me knives. So we've got a mark there, and mark there. So dense wood. Pretty hard, isn't it? See what else you can go with. Just interesting that the strap has a cleat on it, so you can adjust it to your wrist size, and the rest of it's alright. So let's see if I can get it. There we go. Maybe I don't have it tightened up right enough. So, medium, I think. There's a cycle through. Alright, so I think the Dickie's operation at the beginning was me not screwing that down tight enough from showing you earlier. That's something to learn when you disassemble it, to make sure you really crank it down hard so the contacts of the battery work. But hey, seems to cope with that alright. So what else it can do? To be quite honest, this is not really a fair one, because it's not cylindrical, because you've got a really large flared end. So there is, there's a lot more of that going on with the car roll. But hey, nothing ventured. Nothing gained. Oh, that's hot. And it's broke. Right, so the actual glass lens is what's failed. Trying to get it out anyway. So I've managed to undo the crenellated ring at the top, which they've touted as something to do with using it in your hand against hard objects. Well, that may be able to take the impacts, but from the freezer to the pan of hot water, and then cooled it off in the pond, as far as I'm aware, the screen wasn't, the actual glass wasn't broken. And I only really threw it 1.5 meters, so that's where it packed up. So let's see if I can work out the lens in a second and get back to you. Is it getting there? Yeah, the actual lenses. Maybe I can. There it is. So that's what a 1.5 meter drop did. But I had hit it a few times earlier. There's a little white ring. I'm wondering if with the crenellated front, all that it has, if it hits on an end, to take the shock out of this pressing on the glass, is this gasket. So that's pressing on the glass, so any shock that went down through would transfer to the glass as it sat on its rim. Maybe that'll come up in research and development further on, but as I say, as that screws down inside there, the only thing that's against the bottom of the ring and the top of the glass is that. Perhaps a thicker glass. Oh, it's pretty thin. 1.5 2 mil. So if I take that out, I'll let it dry, and then find a bit of acrylic and stick it in. I'll be able to continue the use of the actual flashlight. But once again, if ThruNite weren't up for me to do this, yeah, this is the first one that's really failed in that, and I'm wondering whether or not, if that was thicker, so it lands on that, it wouldn't crack the lens. That's my initial theory. Let's just see if the actual torch still works. Because I mean, I've been throwing these things up and down repeatedly, haven't I? up and down, like. And this was the first drop I did. No water in the battery section. So it still works, but the lens glass broke. So thanks for joining me again. Scott Wessex Blades. That's what I do. Put it through its paces. It took a beating, but the lens broke. Car roll, perhaps that did something. Perhaps it chicked it on it. But as I say, it didn't crack after the car roll from the freezer to the hot water, and then I cooled it off in the pond, so it wasn't like I did the drop test when it was murder hot. So it seemed to be back to ambient, and it was one drop did it. So information for ThruNite, information for you. It's a big old fronted lens, mine. That's a big area to protect, so perhaps thicker and a bigger rubbery gasket so shock doesn't transfer to the glass. That's my 8 me's worth. Scott from Wessex Blades out. Thanks again with the Thrunite TC10 version 2. Did pretty well, but I managed to break it. See you on the next one.